looking at that, those space, the data, 90% of discussion online is about politics, which is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. But very little about education, very little about the economy. Of course, everything goes back to politics. But I think also as a people, we need to realize that we are being held hostage by the political class because, one, we have not been able to bring about laws that can actually bring accountability, and that accountability then will translate into tangible deliverables. So we are missing really deliverables. We have turned politics and democracy in itself as an end in itself and not a means to an end. And was having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was asking, India is the largest democracy in the world, and you can compare them because in terms of demographics, in terms of population, you can compare them with China. But which country do you think will respond more decisively to a societal issue? Is it a democracy? And I'm not in any way trying to say that democracy is bad. Don't get me wrong. Democracy is okay if the institutions that are in that country can actually work. Now, in our case, we do not have strong institutions, especially on accountability, and that's why I think democracy has not worked for us. And unfortunately, even as we go towards 2027, I watched the Opina show, and some of the remarks coming from that show, it really tells me that we have not learned anything from our history, and we are likely to repeat the same mistakes we've been doing. And I just hope that at some point, the citizenry will be able to understand that this is about their life and their future, to actually have individuals who are men and women of integrity that will prioritize the interest of the country and not to use the country as, a springboard to just get into somewhere bigger in terms of their financial future, if there is such a word. Unfortunately, a majority of the citizenry, whether it's lack of education or it's they're just disinterested. We tend to make very poor decisions in terms of the people we elect. Whether the system is rigged or not, that's the material, because the fact that they are even getting support really tells that there is quite a lot that has to be done in terms of groundwork to enlighten people about how they are mortgaging their future to individuals who are known to be corrupt, and they know they're corrupt, but they're okay with that. And so I think I'm not so optimistic about the country, to be honest. I'm a Kenyan, yes, but I'm not so optimistic about any meaningful change, because if you see an individual supporting Gachagua, thinking Gachagua is a solution, then there is a problem. Another person thinks that removing, I'm going to vote because I want to remove candidate B. I'm punishing candidate B or candidate A. I mean, you cannot be punishing people thinking that that's going to get you to somewhere. So we need people who will stand with people who are men and women of integrity. And that's where, unfortunately, as a society, we have failed miserably. I learned.
Thank you. Very valid points. As we cycle back to you, Linus, the mic is yours before we cycle back to Tomboya. Linus? Okay, Linus is not there. Tomboya? Go ahead, Linus.
Thanks so much. So much has been said. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, go ahead. You are.
I want to be very brief today. Now, State of the Nation and Finance Bill. I think, what's his name? I've forgotten his name, is dropped anyway. He pulled the rug beneath my feet.
Bonnie?
Because Bonnie, yes.
Yes.
He spoke elaboratively about the finance bill. And I think the only thing that I can add on that is the finance bill, when they speak about the restructure of the Finance Act, the VAT Act, that is just pure English. But the bottom line of it is all that will be transferred to the common man, and the end result will be increase in price of commodities. That is pretty obvious. That's the biggest demerit of the Finance Bill 2025. But then I really want us to focus because for times without number, we've been speaking about the problems that bedevil this country called Kenya. But I really want us to focus on offering solutions because we've spoken much of problems. And I also admire the contribution by Western, I think so. But I just wanted to remind him that on matters violation of human rights, they know no borders, they cut across. Even a chimpanzee that is well informed in the public of Lesotho has a right to make a comment if my rights are violated. But then can only make the trip to, like Martha Karua did to Tanzania, the same thing she did to Uganda, if her license, if she's licensed and allowed to practice within there. But I don't want to go into that bit. I want to focus on the issues that bedevil this country. And for times that number, we've spoken about them. But I really want us to narrow it down. And I believe that the more we speak, the more we lose the direction. The more we speak, the more we lose the meat to chew. If you're not careful, you remain with the bone and there'll be nothing to chew. The problem with Kenya, as I said last time, is leadership and management. That's the only problem we have. And I believe those of us who are on this platform or who are informed that are out of this platform, we need to focus much on helping our people know what exactly or how exactly to get out of this problem. Because we have a regime, this is an example, that speaks of value addition. When you speak of value addition, mango is a local product. It's produced almost in every corner of this country. And we have very sweet mangoes from the coast. Turkana can produce very sweet mangoes. But the contract is if you go to our stores, you get mango juice, tons of them imported. How do you speak of value addition? We need to get the right crop of leaders who can transform this country. These leaders will not fall like manna from heaven. These leaders are characters, are persons, they're elements who are amongst us. Some on this platform, some not on this platform. Within the current crop of leadership, we have persons who you can exemplify, who stand out in their style of leadership, in their deliverables. If you check, for example, someone like Crystal Asige, she is a nominated senator, yes, but she has outperformed almost all of the elected leaders in this country, given her focus, given her forthrightness, and given her steadfastness in whatever she has chosen to do, and she has performed. So it is upon us, and this is a challenge that I'm throwing to Hillary and Abdi. It is upon us to pick out such leaders and use them, give them the pedestal to stand on, and use them as good examples of leadership. Because the problems of this country, some of them created by this regime, some of them inherited by this regime. But if we do not get the right people to solve it or to solve them, then we'll not make any step, we'll not make any move. It is my prayer, as I've said the other time, that we need this time around to focus on an individual who will come from without the political crop, from without the political class, and they are abound. There are so many. Because what we've learned, what is happening now, is that the political class, the elite, have realized that the Gen Zs and the millennials, if they pull together, they can get rid of them. And now, once they get rid of us, if I speak as one of them, once they get rid of us, we are going to lose everything, including our wealth, our parcels of land, and everything. And if you check, you ask yourself, someone owns a parcel of land bigger than the entire province, former province of Nyanza. Where will you take this parcel of land? And then when people speak, then you start using that to give tokens to people, so that you give the impression that you are sorting the problem, that you are solving the problem. My prayer, Hilary and Abdi, is that we change this topic, we change the narrative, and start speaking on how best to get persons who can lead Kenya out of this problem. We can talk of the public debt. We can talk of the thievery of the what do you call it, the broad-based. We can talk of so many things, but the political class have realized that their time is up, and that's why they are coalescing around each other so that they back up each other, they support each other, and they make sure that they lock themselves together so that they don't get they don't let go of power. My prayer is this: on this platform, let us help educate the people of Kenya. If we talk, someone asked me one question that over 100 years ago, this country managed to do a pipeline from Mombasa to Nairobi. That is pipeline, Kenya pipeline for oil, petroleum from Mombasa to Nairobi, Nairobi, Kisumu, Kisumu, Eldoret, blah, blah, blah. But then we cannot do piped water for the people of Turkana. How do you answer that? It is not, I mean, studies have proven that Turkana has millions of aquifers of water underneath. Certainly there are challenges, but the challenges cannot be compared to the challenges that were met to do the pipeline from Mombasa to Kisumu or to Western Kenya all the way to Malaba to the border. So the solutions are abound. What we lack are people with proper ingrained leadership skills and management abilities to lead this country out of the quagmire that we get ourselves in. When I speak of the state of the nation currently, I cannot begrudge Gachagua. He has a right, as any other Kenyan, to form his political party. He has a right, as any other Kenyan, to partner with whoever he deems fit. But I'm also of the school of thought, the likes of Gachagua, we can only identify with them, just as Milton said at the beginning, that the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So we can only identify with them with the sole purpose that we have a common enemy. But then when it comes to offering a solution, as Redemptor placed it, majority of these guys are in the analog age. They cannot offer solution of this century that can help propel this country to the next level, as they always say it. We know it's business. We know they're in this because they are comrades, they are partners. The problem ailing this country, everybody knows. There's a lot of duplication in the public service system. The problem with the county governments is they borrowed the entire structure of the central government and replicated the whole thing into county government. You go into county government, you have the CECM finance, you have the chief officer of finance, then you have directors, then you have I don't know what, so many structures that only serve to eat into the pie, but not to deliver service to the people. So I believe as things stand, as we enter into 2026, 2025 is gone. As we enter into 2026, we need to start putting in place or elucidating leaders who we believe can propel, who we've seen their track record, who can perform, can help change this country. My conviction is a leader like Crystal Asiga, regardless of the party she comes with, I can give her my vote, regardless of the position. And there are so many others within the ranks of the political class currently. But then there are also those rotten ones who the earlier gotten rid of, the better. So I believe we should be focusing more on now directing the opinion to shape what is coming in 2027. Whatever Gachagua mentioned about, I don't think if it is right to put it like he's pro-violence, because whatever he mentioned on that interview with Obina, I must confess that myself, I heard of it like 2 months ago. And it's very glaring, it's very clear. What is happening is the political class are so determined to protect themselves from letting go of power. And if the narrative is not changed, 2027 will be worse. I can bet on that. 2027 will be worse. And how do we change the narrative? We change the narrative by putting in place persons who we believe identify with the agenda of the 21st century Kenya, persons who we believe will help drive the agenda of change that you want, not to amass wealth. Thank you. That's my submission.
Thank you, Lynn, as always. Let's go to Tomboya. Tomboya, the mic is yours. I know you have been waiting. Before we cycle back to our panel of speakers, Tomboya?
Well. Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
This is what I want to say. I just continue encouraging Kenyans, considering the state of the nation. There is one area I want to talk about. I'm encouraging Kenyans to be important or good. The young Kenyans successfully made it possible through their fearless slogan. They made it possible for a punitive finance bill to be dropped, and that was good for this country. So they are trying to achieve something. As we can say that the elite politicians are still in slumber. The way they were continuing to do whatever they were doing in parliament, while the young people were outside the parliament saying that you must not pass that finance bill, and they did it. Right now, I know they are still ignoring the young Kenyans, and we who are here, who have the interest of this country, I really encourage us that we do not discourage these young Kenyans. Let us support them, because they are trying to achieve something that have not been achieved. I believe that we are going to redefine politics of this country, and for the first time, we are going to shock the elite politicians. I encourage as many as possible, the young Kenyans, to vie for political seats, and I also encourage us to consider funding the politicians that are going, the aspirants that are going to seek leadership position. Myself, as I'm saying, I will fund them by voluntary work, educating people, and also being able to even print posters on behalf of others. If at all there is something I can be able to do, mobilize people in the ground just to listen to the voices of these young people, I'm going to do it. I'm going to volunteer to do anything just to make sure that our approach to our politics is not just the same way it has always been, the old political approach. That is the message I'm sending. As much as we may want to brand some other people as projects, let us talk. But I believe that it is nature in action. Whatever is happening, it is going to happen. It doesn't matter how long it will take, but the fact that people are being informed, it is going to happen. Even if we try to discourage them, that time is coming. So that is my message. And for the first time, I believe that it is possible that we can vote someone who is not part of the tribal kingpins, who have not always been in the political terrains. I believe that we are able not to vote the putrid government, and we are also not going to vote the deceiving opposition. So I believe we are going to vote new people, and for that I stand to encourage us consider people like Okia Omtata. That is the man I believe is the best to serve this country as the president.
Thank you. We got to
people of Kenya. We may find that since independence, we have been having leaders who are being recycled to serve in these political arenas. For example, people choose their relatives. Whenever like an MCA is elected, an MP, they fill their offices with their relatives. Those ones who are not related to them, they remain back in the village, languishing with the poverty. It is high chance that we need to think outside the box and elect people who are ready to serve the interests of the Kenyans. People who are mature enough, people who are selfless, not people like those hooligans from Western. They are trying to destroy all companies from Western by selling them to other people from other countries. Like we have a living example from Malakisi. There was a January that was used to produce bread. It had employed so many people, but it was sold to an Indian whom I don't want to mention, who brought it down after a while. We are hearing stories of Nzoia Sugar Company being leased for 30 years. I think these people are greedy. They want just to use this money to enrich themselves so that other people remain to suffer forever. Look how many employees from Zoya Sugar Company that may lose their jobs. How is it possible you lease 1 acre of land for 1600 shillings, when in Western, for you to hire an acre of land to cultivate sugarcane or maize, it is 15,000, but they are leasing it at 1600, as Sifuna, who is the senator of Nairobi, highlighted to us. I think it is high time we do away with all the politics and we elect people who are ready to serve, so that we have some respect in the new Kenya that we are yearning to have. Please, brothers and sisters, let's work together. We will achieve it. Let's put all guns aside and look for the best leaders to lead Kenya. Kenya needs smart people, needs visionary people. We had Vision 2030. I don't think if we are going to achieve this Vision 2030 with the thieves we are having, people are there to loot our property, loot our land, loot our taxes to enrich themselves. They are investing outside the country. They are leaving the country like a hollow eggshell, whereby this is going to make us suffer and the next generation to come. We are like squatters in our own countries. Please, let's look.
Just cycle back to.
I'm, I'm around, eh?
Okay. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Okay, Fabi is not there. Okay. Let's bring in Abaya. Abaya, are you there? Okay, let's cycle back to our panel of speakers as we call for the closing statement. Bonnie, your final say, 2 minutes.
Actually, can you give me about 2 minutes?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm saying give me two. I can come back in 2 minutes.
Okay, that's perfect. Snoopy has issues, I think, today. Snoopy, are you there? Okay, Weston.
Abdi, I think it's completely responsible for the political elite to resuscitate, exhume the 2007-2008 catastrophe. It's completely irresponsible and very callous. It tells you how mean-spirited some of these political elites are. And these are people who, if we were a normal society, would be banned for life from political circulation. They would not hold any public office because they play dangerous games with Kenyans' lives. Can Rigathi answer the question when he accepted to be William Ruto's running mate? What were the reasons? What were the reasons? Can he answer that question? So now that he's embattled, he wants to exhume those ghosts. There's no winner there. There will be no winner. There will be absolutely no winner. He won't win. Nobody will win in Kenya. So they're not taming their tongues. They're not exercising moderation. And some of us are cheering them on. These people are leading into damnation, complete damnation. Because if Kenya was to rupture, who is going to pay the brunt? It's ordinary citizens. It's not going to be these characters. They will hide themselves in their, high walls, and some of them will take the next flight and leave Kenya. And behind they leave these ordinary people here suffering just as it happened. So we must call out these people. We must call them out. If we didn't entertain a conversation about 2007, between 2008 until 2017, why are we entertaining it now? For political point scoring. And it's not going to help you, it's not going to help me, it's not going to help Rigathi, it will not going to help any Kenyan. We have not sought justice for those people. All of us, we did not. So it's not those people we're interested in. It's not the victims. We're interested in painting one another in the worst light. These people should be called out. That's what I'm saying. And if this narrative will continue towards 2007, well, there'll be no elections. It's as simple as that. What I mean by there will be no elections, we will not have a conclusive winner. That's the point I'm making. And you know, when you don't have a conclusive winner, who remains in place? It's usually the incumbent. It's not anybody else, because they invoke the instruments of violence that they control to suppress dissent. And I don't think Kenyans can go onto the streets to fight for these people. It will be extremely foolish to go onto the streets to fight for Rigathi or William Ruto or Matiang'i. Completely foolish. Because if you get hurt there, it will be dying in vain, being hurt in vain, because these people don't care about you. Why would you put your life on the line for them? So they will sort itself out on their own. And then after they are done, you say, okay, are you done? Tell us, how did you resolve it? They will not take Kenyans into this cynical, life-negating politics of theirs. We must call them out. That's the point I'm making here. I yield him, Abdi.
Thank you. Abaya, and then we go to Fabia before we go to Chacha. Abaya, 2 minutes. Okay. Fabia?
Good evening, Abdi.
Yes.
Am I clear?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you people for hosting this space so that we can air our views. First of all, I just want to speak on a number of items. To start with the issue to do with the political temperatures in our country. Number one, we have two people here. We have a liar and we have a self-proclaimed truthful man. The two groups are inciting Kenyans. We have been hearing from government. They says that there is no day in history in this Republic of Kenya that a president has gone for one term. That is an incitement. Because if you see the majority of Kenyans, including me, you are saying that enough is enough. The guy has just messed up with our country. Corruption is everywhere. Economy is not doing well. So we need this guy to go. But at the end of the day, his people, he himself is declaring that there is no a day a president has gone for one term. What does that mean? He means that he will use the crooked means to stay in power. But what does the democracy say? It's the rule of the majority. And if we realize that this guy has used a crooked means to stay in power, what will happen? Because we saw what happened to the parliament, just first to happen in history of this country. The message is very clear, and I want to say this. People are tired with this government. And I just also to warn them that this time is not the same time that they think it has been happening. During that era of the Kenyatta Senior, the Moi, Uhuru Kenyatta, the level of education, people were not much exposed like today. People know their rights. they can read their constitution at their own preferred time. So anybody thinking that he will subdue the will of the people, I think is wrong.
Okay,
And
yield.
again,
1 minute.
okay, as I conclude, there is something that I think you have read somewhere about our fellow Kenyans who are found in Russia working in drone factories. And we can see a certain man called Mutua trying to persuade our young people that there is job abroad. Little did we know that they are laundering our people into slavery, pretending that they are looking for jobs for these young men and women. I think we are in a mess. We should not even wait for 2027. We need to just wake up early in the morning. We choose a day and we chase this government, because as the way things are looking, my good people, our brothers and sisters are being killed somewhere. These people are deporting Kenyans without our knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabian. That is, thank you again. I will go to, where's Chacha? Chacha was waiting for the mic, and then let's hear from Chacha, your closing statement.
Asante, Abdi. Two fundamental things here. I think we give Kenyans too much credit at times when it comes to their political awareness. I think the ethnic entrepreneurs, those we are calling the political elites, at least the majority of them, have perfected the game of galvanizing and consolidating their ethnic base and coming to the to the table to share the resources among the political elites. And what really pains me most is the fact that this issue of 2007 is actually being brought to the fore. But I also understand the reason is that matter was not really closed because there was no justice that was served to the victims, but also the perpetrators were able to get an off-ramp. And in particular, I think the institutions really failed us, and this was Kenya National Human Rights Commission, and how the witnesses were, disappeared forcibly. Some of them, I remember Yebei disappeared in Eldoret and his body was found in Savo. And nobody even bothered to even ask for accountability from law enforcement, from our intelligence on who was doing this. But your guess is as good as mine, because who benefited from that? The 2007, unfortunately, as tragic as it is, gave us two presidents. It's the post-election violence and the subsequent ICC case that gave us two presidents. So some of those who were suspected to be perpetrators turned out to be presidents. One president, another deputy president, and then later the deputy president became a president. The lawyer, the defense lawyer, became a deputy president. This is how tragic our country is. The defense lawyer of that case became a deputy president and is taunted to become the next president. If you ask the individuals at the state level to mention even one victim of post-election violence, they don't even know their names. Even in this group, unless you are directly impacted, we cannot name even a single person by their full name. So victims in this country are forgotten. They are thrown to the dustbin. And perpetrators are rewarded. That's how diabolical, nefarious we have become as a society. And we have, especially the political elite, have affected the game so much so that they can twist the institutions. And I'll give you an example. This is an analogy that I always say. How the witnesses were singled out and killed was this way. The individuals who were at the Kenya Commission on Human Rights, I think the current UDA Secretary General was part of that team, Hassan Omar. Who gave the identities of the witnesses? Because they will go to ICC. Those of us who follow the case, even their face was blurred. But how were the identities given out? Then who had the responsibility of protecting the identities? It was that particular institution. And one person somehow emerges out of that, becomes a party secretary general of the ruling party. I mean, you don't need to, this is not rocket science. It was a long game that was being played, and someone has to be rewarded. So the fact that we forget victims so easily and reward perpetrators or alleged perpetrators, there is something seriously wrong with our conscience as a nation. But we can be optimistic as we want, but I'm not an idealist. I'm a realist. I can give you a prognosis. The fact is that to think that Kenyans cannot be, at least a majority of them, cannot be mobilized on ethnic sentiment to cause havoc is to delude ourselves. When I read the mood of the nation and going by the history, we seem not to have learned as a country, and partly because we have never served justice to victims, and we have never punished the commandeers. So until we have justice that is working like Rwanda did, this issue will come back to 2037. This issue will come back to 2042. So it's not that it's a matter that is closed already, because people are still hurting. I mean, people know someone who was hurt in one way, affected in one way or the other. So we can pretend that this didn't happen, it's not there, but it's there. It's like if your son leaves his shit in the house, alafu uchukue rag uweke juu, at the end of the day, the smell will come out. So it's unfortunate, but I hope that we can have more public engagement, especially to enlighten the people on how we are, people, especially the common man, is being used by the political class for their selfish ends. And these are the people I call ethnic entrepreneurs. They have perfected the economics of ethnicity. Thank you. I learned.
Thank you, thank you. Before we go to Bonnie, I think we have two new speakers, KOT and 10. 2 minutes each, and then we do our closing statements with the panel. KOT.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. I'm really grateful to be on this space tonight, and congratulations to you guys for always keeping the momentum going. So personally, I'll not speak about the finance bill 2025 yet, because I'm still going through the document. Najua lazima nisome hiyo document word by word, bit by bit, to ensure that I understand it before I can have any reaction on that document. But on the state of the nation, honestly, you guys, you seeing how political alignments are coming up. And so this is a challenge for us who wants to see change in this country. You know, today I was having a conversation in a certain group, and someone asked me, which faction are you supporting for presidency? And I honestly responded to them that currently I am not supporting any faction for the presidency. But of course, apart from that, I still have my my stand that any person who has been in the executive arm of the government, that is the presidency, I mean the president, the deputy president, vice president, the cabinet minister, and the minister, I don't think they deserve any chance to lead this nation, because there are those people who have been at the forefront of seeing our nation being torn apart. So I think it's a good time that we keep these conversations going. And of course, you guys saw what happened yesterday. Some of us went to Kitengela and Kiserian to engage with the people, and the event was actually a success, because we had a lot of people turning out and sharing their experience, sharing what exactly needs to be done. And of course, the young people declaring that they want to go and vie for this political seat. It was just an amazing event. And of course, we need to keep this going every now and then, because we cannot be lamenting and then we don't have any solution for that. And that's why we as the young people saizi tunasema 15 million strong. And someone asked me, if 15 million strong, how are we going to achieve it? And I just did simple mathematics. In 2022 general election, we had around 22 million registered voters. And remember, you guys have always said that the young people don't vote. So my assumption was, from the 22 million registered voters, we had 14 million people going to vote. So out of that, we had a difference of 8 million from that 22 million registered voters. And I had to assume that that 8 million, it belonged to the young people who never bothered to turn out at a polling center to go and cast their vote. Because from the IEBC report, it says that only 40% of the young people turned out to cast their vote, but 60% never turned out to cast their vote. And so, if you're having 60% that didn't go out there to cast their vote, and we had 8 million voters who never cast their vote, so it means out of that 100% of the 14 million, almost 4 million who turned out of that 14 were the young people. So if we take that 8 million zenye zilikuwa hapo fresh, and then we add our 4 million, the guys who went to vote, because I was part of that team, because I went there to vote, we'll be having 12 million votes come 2027 ama mali yote tu kutakuwa na election. But then we want to encourage the young people to go and take the voting cards. Currently, we are ensuring that they go and get their national IDs. So we are going to ensure that we get at least 5 million new registered voters who are between the age of 18 and 35. So ukieka hizo pamoja zote utapata almost 16 million. From 16 million tuseme 1 million wachoke hiyo siku tu, wasiseme waende kuvote, and then the 15 million go and vote. And of course, we want to ensure that all those votes, they go to a single basket. Honestly, if you believe hiki tunasema, and we put it, we go out there to encourage young people and we give them direction, then we are going to get that 15 million strong, as we've said. Otherwise, thank you so much. Wacha tuendelee kupiga hii siasa, because walitaka siasa, wacha tuwasukume naye. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Wanjiru, 1 minute.
Thank you. Within 1 minute, I don't know what to say unless I greet you all.
Okay, end 2 minutes. Haya, twende.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Abdi and Hilary, for the space. I don't know where to start, but I always start with Ruto must go, and I also start with Reject Finance Bill 2025. As KOT has said, that I'm thankful he's leading it. We should totally reject this bill. I think right now I was listening to the space, everyone was, talking about the personalities regarding this, Kashagwa that, everything this. But we are forgetting all these suckers is making us not remember that Finance Bill 2025, my grandmother's land is going to be taxed per year, and if she doesn't pay it, the land is going to be grabbed from her. And it makes me cry. It's so painful to me to even listen to my grand. I was explaining to her how she should reject the finance bill. I was explaining this afternoon to a group of friends about the finance bill, and how it's going to even tax the diasporian from where they are. If you put your money on M-Pesa or bank account or Sacco, because most of them have invested in Saccos and in land, your hard worked money is going to be taxed back home. So it's something that we should totally reject. I just have maybe a request, because we have our MP's number. We have the few of us that we are here, maybe the 200 of us that are here. We have our MP's number. We can tell them to reject this finance bill, because we are not going to allow by any chance Ruto to take over. Of course, we have heard how he has. Today now they're going to start, arresting Gachagua here, abducting someone there, and we forget about Finance Bill 2025 kidogo. Shamba yako itakuja ichukuliwe na Ruto ajigawie kama venye amejigawia kwa Gong Forest, ushangae what is happening. Ama kidogo utakuwa this bill inaniguza sana because I'm from Murima, na msikuja kwa DM kuniambia ninaongea na accent ya Kikuyu. Mimi ni Mkikuyu. Inaniuma sana because sisi hatuna mashamba, literally tumegawiwa kashamba ketu kadogo kadogo kadogo, kamegawiwa kwetu Muranga. Ukienda Muranga, Nyeri, we don't have lands, and that piece of land kama ni 1 acre ama 2 acres, hakuna venye itakuja tuambiwe this 1 acre is worth maybe 3 million Kenyan shilling. Utakuwa unatoa 30k every month. 30k tutoe wapi, for seriously speaking? Na usipoitoa, county government inakuja inachukua that land. This is, I mean, I'm speaking deep from my heart, because my ancestors literally walizaliwa hapo, wakazikwa hapo, and they're still there, and now the government is telling me this land is going to be on lease. No, we have to actually tell everybody hizi psyops inaitwaje, hizi psychological warfare ya arresting opposition leaders at nini, and for letting us forget about the Finance Bill 2025. It's going to kill us all. So I would just maybe plead everyone here, remember to tell your MP, remember to tell everybody, remember to tell your mother, your father, your sister. I had a Kikuyu space on Thursday, and we were trying to actually lead this bill in Kikuyu, and it was so good. I think the first 2 hours we were leading the bill in Kikuyu, and people were explaining, the agricultural bill, how it is affecting people. We had people from, farmers, real farmers, telling us their experiences on the bill and how it's going to affect them, how it affected them last year, and how it's going to even be very bad this year because of the export taxes that zinatolewa kwa watu. So saizi wasisi wa Nyandarua venye tunalima viazi, viazi zetu zitakuwa much expensive than viazi za kutoka Zambia, we have to reject the finance bill. So make sure you tell someone. Mkienda kanisani, leo nimeenda kanisa mara 2 asubuhi na jioni, ni kama nimetumwa, sijui ni Roho Mtakatifu ama ni mtaka kitu, but we have to reject this finance bill. And thank you. I don't have much to say, but reject finance bill 2025. Thank you, Abdi.
Asante sana, asante sana. It's 3 point something K listeners, so I think everybody will pick it up from there. My friend Snoopy, leo umenipotea bwana. Snoopy, the mic is yours.
Sorry, I was having mic issues. Thank you again, Abdi and Hillary, for the space. I want to emphasize on what KOT says. KOT, we thank you for the good work you're doing on the ground. It was really, really wonderful to see you guys out in the field yesterday, moving away from just speaking and actually actualizing what you want. It's really, really beautiful to see you coming out and encouraging the youth to get out and get their, their voters' cards, registers to get their ID. However, I must caution that your numbers are very optimistic. I also have to remind you that the hustler movement was very much geared to the unemployed, and the most that is unemployed in our country is the youth. So I also have to remind you that Gachagua or Kalonzo and others are seriously quoting the youth. So the youth bloc, as we look at it, it's not just ours. So we have to be strategic, and we have to apply caution in how we are looking at the numbers that, we're going after. All the same, kudos. I've supported you before, and I will continue to support you in actions, in financing, and in words of encouragement. There's also another gentleman that talked about, funding our youth, the people that want to run for office, MCAs, MPs, whatever it is. I have spoken about that from the start, and it's something that I stand for. Whoever needs help, come to us. We will lobby, we will finance, we will print the posters. The ones that are in the country will be there for you. The ones that are overseas, we would be there to support and provide the financing and other supports that are needed. My message has always been we need to encourage the youth bloc. I think the focus on who will be the next president should not really overwhelm us, but more so, how do we form such a huge bloc that we can be on that negotiating table? We might not have control on who becomes president, but we might bring in the checks and balances that are needed when the power is formed. Thank you again, and I yield.
Thank you always. Thank you, Sinope. Bonnie, I give you a minute or two for your closing statement. Thank you. Before I go back to Rebecca and Dr. Kimani. Dr. Milton, pick the mic for your closing statement. Thank you. Bonnie, the mic is yours. Okay, sounds like we. Can anyone hear Bonnie? Bonnie, we can't hear you. I think we lost Bonnie. Dr. Kimani, 1 minute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Abdi and Hilary, as always. And I think the discussion has been amazing, and I think we are all geared towards a prosperous Kenya that we all want. And I believe and I hope that this is, people are sincere in what we are doing, in what we are saying, because I want to see a Kenya whereby we are not exporting. Uh, I'm looking at a place where we will not be exporting anything to do with labor in the next few. We want to use that labor in Kenya, make it meaningful for our people, and convert and use that knowledge in creating wealth and also value adding whatever they are doing out there. As I say, connecting with millions of Kenyans back home, it's quite sad because majority of the people are not happy. They are not economically well or stable. It is upon us to be able to say we cannot wait for, because a hungry child, a hungry mother cannot wait for tomorrow to be fed. They do not know whether that tomorrow will be there for them to be satisfied with whatever they are looking for. So I am calling upon everybody to do whatever it takes within their circles, educate, and also let them understand the choices they have today have consequences. And I want to say, asante sana, and let us continue talking economically, how we are going to liberate our country, that is through value addition and not exporting, how we are going to continue socially engaging with our seniors, members of the community, and others that have to pave way for the young people to lead. And of course, we need to understand how is our relationships going to be shaped internationally and locally. We do not need to be the laughing stock for people. Like, for example, today we are talking about how do we bring our people, our poor children that we are forcibly taken to Haiti in the name of serving the country. That is not what it was supposed to be. There is USA, there is other countries that are close to Haiti that needed to have gone to Haiti to do that. We are now struggling. People do not know where some of their kins are today because of responding to some, I would say that is not what I call patriotic. That is not patriotism at all. So we need to shun away, and we need to know what is it that it's our priority as a Kenya, as a people, and as a continent. Last but not least, we cannot preach enough. There is the element and there is the essence that we must continue talking the language of Pan-Africanism. We like it or we don't like it, because if the whole of Africa, and I know I'm trying to extend this debate because we're talking about the state of nation, but as we talk about the state of the nation, we must not talk about the state of the nation in isolation. We must think and see ourselves within that continent and the strategic position that we do hold as a country called Kenya,
and think about what is it that we are going to do different from others to make them come to us, and we be able to to relate and continue collaborating in businesses. So let us continue thinking and holding those spaces. And thank you so much for your time. And have a good evening. It's a good morning here. Thank you so much, Abdi. Hilary to you.
Thank you, thank you. Bonnie, your closing statement, quick.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. My closing remarks are fairly simple. I mean, if you are a Kenyan that's looking at Ruto's government of thieves, by thieves, and for thieves, and you're seeing a government that's reeling from one scandal to the next under a thick cloud of mendacity and corruption, you don't like what you're seeing. But you look on the other side, and there's another group that's forming, led by Rigathi Gachagua. You may be tempted to think that there's the potential for change. I'm here to tell you that there's none. When you look at the people that are, behind Rigathi Gachagua, when you list the top 50 or 100 people on that side, and you do the same thing on Ruto's side, you're going to see is that these people switch sides back and forth over the last 20, 30 years. They are from the same tribe, which is corrupt people that profiteer from government. That's what they do. We need, in my view, a reset in the country in terms of our understanding and expectations of politicians, the role of government, and the role that we allow it to play in our lives. We cannot allow the same people that got us to this mess in terms of economy, in fiscal discipline, tribal politics. We need a new relationship with our government. And that's not going to happen with any of these two camps, in my view. So we need to start embracing new leaders, but don't just embrace them because they are new. Interrogate them, but listen to them. If you hear people like us telling you that we want to be your leaders, ask us questions, interrogate our positions, make sure that we are aligned, and we are not just telling you to vote for us because we are different. But please do not expect change from either Ruto's camp or this other camp. Start listening to new leaders, but also interrogate them. The time for passive citizenship is over. Be involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie, as always. Before I go to Redemptor for her final closing, Snoopy, you had something to say?
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I got in late, so I'm not sure if this was addressed. I think last time we had mentioned doing something regarding the June 25th, or commemorating last year's June, and I wasn't sure if that was discussed. Thank you.
Redemptor, over to you.
Thank you very much. Because you had put in the word finance bill, I'll just say a lot was said, I think, during Kibaki time. I think it was a logo by KRA, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. And the $1 million question is, na kuiba ushuru je? Because we are in a state where the ushuru is not the problem. Even when people are fearing, they are coming for you through your M-Pesa. If we were giving this ushuru and it was being used, would be living a very good life. I hope the next president of this country is a justice stakeholder. As someone whose area of activism is human rights violation, I must say the comments about the human rights violations in East Africa, for me, I don't take them very well, because there are people besides being activists and being politician, economists, their day job is being human rights defenders. And I'll say, when you talk about Tanzania, looking down on us, I think Western said, in the trucks kuna mtu anakimbia field round moja and then anazungukwa, then anakaa ndiye ako mbele, kumbe ndiye ako nyuma. I think tumezunguka Tanzania in the sense they're still on a single party, almost kind of past constitution, and you need to listen to their spaces to know really how bad they are. So I just had to get that off. I'll also finish by saying I heard what Lina said about one of the most best performing senators, and say it really is sad that she will still be limited by her party position, no matter how well her intentions are. And I do hope the party will be lenient enough if she wants to vie, that they will not do what they do in behind the scenes for Machama. And the last thing I'll say, just like I've said, none of us is safe until all of us are safe, in the sense that we shy away about our past injustices, a lot of the massacres in this country are most likely caused by politicians. And I've said allegedly as a disclaimer, but we know the solution is not talking about them. Of course, they've been abused. Of course, they've been abused, but we must never forget that at the right time, we will seek justice. Maybe when we have a president who is a justice stakeholder. So those are my submissions for today, to thank everyone who has come to the space and the opportunity for me to speak in this space. My very last one, I'll say, sometimes people come and say they want the mobilization organization to be discussed here. What this space is, and I'm speaking for myself also as a host, what they do, they provide a pit stop for people who are active citizens, so that when you've gone out there and something bad happens to you, God forbid, we can come here and cry about it. Talking is very important. We must never stop talking about the things that are happening in this country. Those are my submission. Wish you a great week ahead, and God bless this country, and may we heal from the pain that we feel. It's palpable. If you're on the ground in this country, you feel it. People are very snappy. People are very they're on short fuse because of the heavy economic oppression that people continue to feel. So we hope, like all the work Bonnie does, the next crop of leaders will be people who know we are in a state of economic crimes, and we must drain the swamp and reset the button and make this country greater. Asante.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. KOT Sonko, I think Snoopy raised an essential question about commemoration of June 26th. I think we were talking about having a mega space. What is your thought? 1 minute for that. Thank you. KOT? Okay, I think KOT was talking about having a mega space one time, and I think that's the way we will be going, Snoopy, unless you have other suggestions for June 26th. Right, all right, Ronyo, I give you 1 minute. I see you came into the panel to say hello and a opening and closing statement anyway.
Hey, Abdi, can you hear me?
Yes, KOT, I can hear you.
Oh, I've been struggling to unmute my microphone. Sorry.
Yes, I think we have been talking about mega
Okay.
space for 26. So, go ahead.
Okay. I don't have much to say actually. Maybe I'll join that space. Actually, I want to come back and join these spaces because a lot of wisdom is being shared on these spaces while we are away. So maybe I'll ensure that I join that space, and I'm in support of that. And we should actually reach out to other guys, especially those who have a huge following on this platform, to ensure that we welcome them on that space so that we can have a mega space to discuss the national issues and have the deliberations thereafter. Otherwise, I don't have much to say. Thank you so much, Hilary, for having this space here, and the listeners and speakers. You guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thank you. Ronyo, I'll give you 1 minute before we do the closing statement. I also see Martha Karua. She might join us next week if she has time to speak about all these issues. Thank you. Go ahead, Ronyo.
Thank you so much, Abdi. You just gave me 1 minute. I'll just say hi to Hillary, yourself, and Redemptor and Jiro, every other listener and the speakers. I appreciate a lot, but I just want to open and close by saying that we should not lose the focus. Because this personally, I even told Abdi, this is the one of the space that has that voice of reasoning. Most of the other spaces, like you see some government space that are being opened there to try and distract us from the main agenda, and also from we should avoid focusing on these political guys who are being pushed there to try to draw us away from the main agenda, because the main agenda of the country is finance, and that's why they are bringing all this guy, that other guy, so that you forget about finance bill. We should focus on money. We should follow on money. That's where they want us our attention gone away. We should focus there. Our focus should be on money, and so that they should not tax us. Like the Redemptor is saying, we are being taxed, but when they are stealing, they are not telling us to. They're telling us to forget about that. So let us focus on money. Thank you so much, Abdi, Hillary, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, thank you. As we come to close, I think we talked about the Finance Bill 2025. It exposes the soul of a regime that is bankrupt. It's not physically but morally. It is not a plan for recovery. It's a punishment for being poor. It taxes our pain, rewards waste, shifts the burden of broken system into the back of hustlers, students, and struggling families, while shielding the cartels and the corrupt who caused the crisis. And the broader state of the nation today is one of betrayal. Promises were made of bottom up prosperity, jobs, affordable living, inclusion, but we have seen instead is a country run on a PR, repression, and propaganda. State violence is up, trust is down, institutions have been captured, the people are left to fend for themselves. Yet in this darkness, a new light is emerging. The resistance we are witnessing across Kenya, from the Gen Z to the diaspora. It's not noise, it's a cry for justice, for dignity, for a new republic. The streets are awake, the silence is broken. This is no longer about the finance bill alone, it's about who we are and what kind of Kenya we're willing to fight for. Let's leave this space not just being informed, but ignited, organize, mobilize, hold the line, because if we don't stop this cycle of oppression, misgovernance now, we will be paying for it, not just in taxes, but in the lost futures. This is our moment. This is our time to choose people over politics. It's now or never. Thank you for all joining us every Sunday. Over to you, Hillary, and thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Abdi, and thank you so much, everybody else, for joining our space every Sunday. Pressure Point team is here. And 25th June, we have a mega rally, and we have a good plan. And at the same time, I think we are planning to do something for the families, for the comrades who lost their life at that time, because there are some families who are crying even up to the moment. They don't know where their children are. They don't have even answers. They are really suffering on pain. So prepare your mind on the same, on the space. But when the plan comes, also, we can do something for those families, God willing. Otherwise, thank you so much. Join us every Sunday. Every Sunday, we are here. Every Sunday, no matter what. We have seen so many spaces coming up. Don't worry about those spaces. Those are sponsored, and we are aware. We have information. Let them sponsored and let them try to change the narrative and everything. Guys, let us men um, focused, let us men looking forward to have a better Kenya. And who to bring this better Kenya? It is us. It is you and me. And now the Pressure Point team, we're here to deliberate on the issues and also the solutions. Wanjiri, you want to say something before I close?
Oh yes, yeah. There is John Ceremony here in the space, and when you mentioned doing something for the families, he has been having a space known as To Siwa Forget since last year. So I was thinking if you can actually connect with him, and he has been visiting families for the deceased. I think he has gone to Chieni's family, Rex's family, a lot of families. So I think John Seremani, you maybe connect with Hillary, and I think it's going to be powerful because he has been doing it for almost close to 6 months. Chini ya maji,
All right.
not
Thank you so
explain.
much,
Thank
Wanjiru.
you.
We are going to do that on 25th to remember our all comrades, and it might be the whole day doing that to remind our people, their families, and everything. So thank you so much for reminding us that. And let us invite everybody on board. We'll invite those people who can support the ideas and also can support those families. May God bless you. God be with you guys. See you again on Sunday, same time, same place. And we really humble to see you all the time and giving you ideas going forward. That's the way to go until we make it. Thank you so much. Bye for now.